All right, everyone. You may know my next guest as featured guest on episode 230 of this podcast. You may also know him as a bass player for the Monkees. You may also know him. Stop making noise.
230. Episode 230 for those who are hearing impaired. There we go.
Famous from episode 230. Also, the bass player for the Monkees. You might know him as that as well. He's known equally as both, depending on what circles you're in. Welcome back to the show, John Billings. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me. This is so cool.
I'm excited to have you back. You know, what was it? It was, we were talking about going to Nashville.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh, I have friends. We're at dinner. I'm like, I'll call my friend. Who's your? He's the bass player for the Monkees. You know what? And, they're like, the bass player for the Monkees, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
That's like a weird trivia question.
I know, and it was funny. So I like to type in my guest's name into ChatGPT now, just because it's.
Oh, really? What came up? Was it the guy that created there's two, there's the Grammy guy.
Well, it knew you, and it used, and the best part was it referenced the podcast as the source.
Did it really? Yeah. Dude, we blew it out.
I'm like, oh,
230, man.
We're like famous. We're like so famous. So the new album, you have a new album out with Micky.
Yeah, the
live at the Troubadour. Listening to it. I've actually listened to it a few times now, digging it. How did Micky he's 50 years on, from the Monkees, right? It's many decades. His voice sounds amazing still, like amazing.
Yeah. He's still singing, man. He's going to be, holy cow, he's 80 in like a week. He's going to be 80. He's still singing. And we haven't changed keys. He still hits that. I always look at him when we do Pleasant Valley Sunday. At the very end of the song, Pleasant Valley Sunday, he's nailing that. And I'm always like, how are you still hitting that line at the end of the song? I can't do it. And I'm only 30.
Well, like I saw Paul Simon in concert a few years ago, and he's still good, but he's not early Paul Simon. And, it's normal. We all change. It's like, Paul McCartney is in his 80s, right? He just rocked the end of Saturday Night Live 50.
Yeah.
And, he wasn't 100% Paul, but he was amazing Paul McCartney. You look
He's
at
still
him,
Paul,
like,
yeah.
Like amazing. But Micky, I think, sounds like he
sounds like he always did. Yeah.
It's like no change. Like age didn't impact him at all.
No, it's not at all. He drinks like better liquors now, but that's the only thing that the age affects. A higher top shelf now, as opposed to probably just beer then.
I've been trying to get Micky on the podcast. I'm still chasing him. It hasn't been a no. Hasn't been a no yet.
Good.
I've been working with his people, but I did. So I ended up getting Amy Dolenz on the show.
Yeah. Did her husband Jerry jump in there at all?
No.
He didn't like lean over his shoulder or anything.
No, but she was fun to talk to.
She's really cool.
So, all right. So the album is live at the Troubadour. Can you talk to me? So the Troubadour obviously is a big deal.
Yeah, it was a huge deal to him. That was a place where he hung out when when the show was in its heyday and after the show was even over. That was the place everybody would go and hang. And he spent a lot of time there. He met a lot of cool people there. He always goes, I spent 2 years there one night. That's his big joke. It's probably quite true, actually. But so it was a huge thing for him to come back after all this time, which was amazing to me. I was like, that seems odd that he wouldn't have performed there. But then again, it would have been weird if he had performed there because he doesn't do clubs really anymore. And this really it's a big club. It's a cool club, but it's a club. So for him, this is a big stinking deal.
Well, but there's a lot of history here too, right? As I started to kind of dig into it. I remember hearing the name off and on, but this is where the Eagles met. Don Henley and Glenn Frey met there. Elton John, famously, this is the first place he played in America. the
John
history.
Billings.
John Billings.
John Billings did unspeakable things there in the 80s that we will not talk about.
Well, talk to me about.
I'm a different guy now. But I had a lot of fun at the Troubadour myself.
Who did you play with at the Troubadour?
I used to have a metal band, long-haired metal band called Lancia, and we would play the Whiskey, we play the Roxy, and the Troub. That was like on our little circuit that we would play. So actually, one of the few times my parents got to see me in my long-haired metal days on stage was at the Troub. They brought their friends from Virginia, from Chester, Virginia, out. They were all out in the audience while I was up there flipping my hair and doing, crotch lunges and all the stuff you had to do in the 80s. But yeah, that place is huge, dude. I saw people perform there when I lived there at that time. It's always been kind of an iconic room. And I mean, everybody always uses that word iconic, but it really fits in this situation.
Yeah, it seemed like it was important to him, and and it is, as he dug in, you're like, everyone's played there. I mean, there's a Carly Simon, James Taylor album recorded there as well. Like, there's just tons. Cheech and Chong performed there.
That place is awesome, dude. I'm surprised. You should have come out to that one. That would have been a good one to blow some dough, get the plane ticket, hotel.
Had I known, so you recorded this last April 2024. The album was released December 2024.
Yes, sir. And we actually have, I shouldn't be talking too much out of turn, but we shot video that night. So yours truly is, behind the 8-ball on it, but I've got to get that wrapped up. So we'll have a video performance out on DVD.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I have the live vinyl of the Micky show that you're on too. So
okay.
I remember, like, if for those of you who tune in to episode 230, I realized I've probably seen you in concert just as much as I've seen everyone. I just had no idea.
That was the one, 230.
Yeah, 230. Thank you.
Sorry, I won't do that anymore. I don't know why I think that's so funny.
No, I'm sure it'll be funny the fifth time too.
No, I'm done. My comedic timing's over. I've lost it, dude. I'm not doing it anymore. No, that vinyl was amazing. It was, that was an Andrew Sandoval production, and Christian Nesmith mixed that. That was captured over a number of nights, and great performances chosen. That tour was great. That tour was really cool.
It was really, really good. It was nice. I saw it pre-pandemic, so I know when they came back, Mike was starting to get sicker and sicker. Was getting closer to the end there, but but when I saw them, I went to like this little place in Chicago. I think we talked about it last time, and but it was such a great concert. Such a great concert. You were awesome. I mean, I didn't know. I could feel the bass, but I didn't know I was feeling it. But
if I wasn't in this podcast, you'd never even say that, Jeff. Come on.
No, I would. I was just talking to someone the other day. I'm like, do you remember the bass? Do you remember the bass?
Yeah, I remember the bass. It was rumbling my booty. I remember that bass.
So as a bass player, let's just go down that rabbit hole for a second. So, like, are you the unsung hero of the band? Like, what's your role? There's no, like, you don't think of, like, I couldn't name any band and name their bass player except maybe the you, of course, and I tell everyone. Everyone knows that. But, like, Paul McCartney played bass. I know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Left-handed bass. And, but other than that,
I know it's hard. Gene Simmons, there's always Gene. Remember Gene? Everybody knows Gene.
Sure. But you don't think
over the tongue.
Like, there's those examples though are like fronts, the band's front, right? So you don't like I don't know a lot of the drummers either. It's not our keyboardist, and that's just me. I tell you, like, you're one of the few music folks I've talked to, because I don't inherently I enjoy music, but I don't I can't talk to it like a TV or something like that. Like it just comes in my ears, and I'm like, I enjoy it. So it's like I've grown since talking. I mean, I haven't interviewed another musician, and then the next one I interviewed was you again. But I feel comfortable with you, so
we share this Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I see the pictures. I looked on some of the reviews, and you're always like rocking it. You're doing the rockin' pose when you're basing out. Is that
I gotta say,
basing out?
Yeah, but when I'm out bass, it's actually pronounced out basing. No, not basing. No, that music. I'm really lucky to get to play on that stuff. because that was an era where bass players were playing parts, were playing really interesting parts. It wasn't just a support role. Right after that era, in the 70s, bass started to get a little simpler and became more of a support mechanism with the drums. And so there wasn't a lot of melodic bass playing. You had Paul McCartney would play really melodically, and then you had jazz guys that would go off and play really melodically on bass. But that was, the Monkees music was kind of like the wrapping up of that era of cool bass. So it is fun to play that show. You get really cool bass lines. And I always tell people, they probably roll their eyes when I say it, but I go, that's bass that matters. That's bass that when it's not there, you're like, something's missing from this song. There's a line, it's like when people hear I'm a Believer, and that chorus has that funny bend. It's funny. It's a quirky little bass line. But if it's not there, people way notice it. Or if I'm not playing it right, they notice it. And that's what's cool about that gig. It's bass that matters. I mean, a lot of the other stuff I've done, it's not that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't hold as high a level. It's more like I used that term earlier, just support mechanism. It fills in the low end. It's grooving along with the drums. But the Monkees stuff was in that era of a little bit of experimentation, and people would play bass like a guitar sometimes. And sometimes the guitar players were playing bass, and they would play more melodically. So it's a fun gig. I get to play cool parts that matter. And so, yeah, it's exciting. I get happy about it. My wife she likes it. She always notices it when I'm learning new tunes for them or something. She's always like, the bass lines are so different. They totally are.
So your wife's into all that music.
Oh yeah. She's a piano player. She listens, and she hears me in here woodshed, sitting in this chair, woodshedding something that for Micky or Andrew used to have us learning some B-sides that I didn't know, because I didn't follow as closely back in the day. So a lot of the times it'd be Andrew would send out an email and say, you got to learn this song. It's a Nez song, or this song is a Davy song. And I'd be playing it, and practicing it. And Amy would hear me in here playing. She would always go, well, it's like not your usual dung, 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 dung bass part. You're playing a line. And if it's not there, you really notice it.
So since she knows music, she can hear if you screw up.
Yeah. She hears me screw up a lot. I got to screw up a lot until I get it right.
Great show, John, until you screwed up Stepping Stone.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. That's every other night, man.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. So it sounds like you're describing bass like people describe Ringo Starr playing drums.
Yeah. It matters. And the way Ringo played mattered.
Yeah.
That era was very cool. I've been really lucky that this gig came along, because I get to have fun playing bass, and it's not just my friends always they taunt me in some of my other bands. They always go, Brad Henderson always goes, thumb the root or get the boot. And then my other buddies will call it dumb guy bass, dumb guy, dumb guy, dumb guy, dumb guy, dumb guy, dumb guy. And that's a lot of what we do as bass players. And it's important when it's gone, you notice that it's gone, or it's not meshing with the drums. You'll feel it. The groove gets weird. But the Monkees stuff, I played in a Carpenters tribute that I loved, because it was this guy named Joe Osborne playing bass, and he would play all this really cool melodic stuff. And like I said, that was an era where the bass got to stretch a little bit. So I've been lucky. Been really lucky to get to do it. Okay,
so the top 3 Monkees songs that rely most on bass.
I get in a fight with half the guys in the band.
This is from the bass player's point of view. It doesn't matter what the other guys say.
You know what? You're right. You are right. They better remember.
I'm sure the drummer would be like, this is my kick-ass drum song. Yeah. And you'd be like, okay, buddy, whatever.
This is my hi-hat performance. Rich Dart on hi-hat. So I'm gonna, you just may be, I'm terrible. All right, let's just be honest. I'm terrible with song titles, so I have to sing the whole chorus.
Yeah, I get it. I get that.
You just
I'm the same way with my kids' names. I get it.
Oh yeah, well I did. Yeah, we all do that. All 4 of them. I have to go through all 3 to get to the 4th right one. Yeah, you just may be the one, which Nez always calls "Oh Members." Oh Members. That has a real pivotal bass part that's really cool. There was always, I love to play. Now, some people would say that that's not a super important line, but I always loved to play Circle Sky. Was like a really cool bass line. And actually, a line that Peter plays live is the one that I always played live. And it's a little different from the original, but it's really, really cool. He really did it. He came up with something really neat. I always feel like, man, Now you put me on the spot for number 3. I can't even think of what it is.
Which is, it could be just like your favorite ones, like where you're like,
I love to play Pleasant Valley Sunday, but from a bass player's perspective, it's the same note. It's just A, D, A. You know, if I played it sitting right here, you'd be like, are you having a stroke, John? Is everything okay? But it's really cool how it sits in the song. It anchors the song. And it's one of those things where I'm playing a really simple part that doesn't take a lot of effort or a lot of, you know, I'm not shredding, but it sits with the drums and it sits with the guitars in such a cool way that always makes me just kind of go, you know, it feels really good to play that song. And it's usually like the last song. I have a bunch of friends that go, you ask them what their favorite song is, they go, the last one. I always think that we get to Pleasant Valley Sunday, like, my favorite song, the last one's up.
I saw you at the 50th too. We talked about all this last time. Yeah. But just to recap, to tease the episode 230. Hold up the sign. And episode 230. Yeah, but yeah, my wife.
That was a cool night. That was my 50th birthday.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah. It was their 50th birthday or 50th reunion show, and it was my 50th birthday party. We turned 50 on the same night.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was really cool.
That is really, really cool. All right, so the Troubadour. What'd you call it? The
Troubadour.
You called it the Troub. What'd you call it?
The Troubadour. But you can call it the Troub.
The Troub. That's what you called it. That's what I was saying. Like, all right, so it was a big deal. So it was a big deal for you to record there too, right? So
yeah, it was very cool. I mean, I never recorded there ever. It was always, you know, live shows, and you're done. You walk off stage, and that moment's lost forever. So this was great because we were able to catch it for multi-track and also for video. And actually the priority was to do video. And after the fact, when I got my files back, Micky was like, well, how did it sound tonight? And I go, well, once we mix it all together, and he was like, you mean you have multi-tracks to the show? And we were like, yeah, we can mix this properly. He goes, we're going to do a record. And that's literally how it came out. I was like, okay, we're doing a record. So I produced the record. We had Amin Sarukian mix it, edit and mix. It came out really beyond our expectations. I was really happy with it.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Well, let me ask you another question. When you're there recording at the Troubadour, the Troub,
Troub, bro.
I mean, does it feel? Do you feel the iconicness when you're there?
It's funny. It's a lot of times when you're performing, you know this. When you perform, you might be in a big room, but you're so keyed in on your performance and your gig and what you're doing that it might slip by that you're in this particular place until afterwards. And you get done, you're like, holy cow! I just played the, you know, insert amazing venue here. That night I had so much on my plate. As I was producing the live video part of this, I had 2 shooters in the audience. I had some cameras placed strategically because there's a whole bunch of restrictions when you play a small club. So that whole afternoon, I'd been negotiating with the production manager on what we couldn't do, what my shooters could go out and do, what they couldn't do. It was more about what they couldn't do than anything. I had so much that on my mind, making sure that the multi-tracks were going to sound good. Then put my head into the show. And then I had couple of my shooter guys were like just wandering around backstage, getting backstage footage beforehand. So then you're like on, you know, instead of like, oh God, hope everything goes well. You see them walking, I'm like, hey, can't wait to play the Troub tonight. Woo! They walk away, you're like, oh, I hope that they unmuted the micro. You know, you go back to your worry. And then you hit the stage. I think at the halfway point of the show, when we do an intermission, we come back. I think at that point, there's this long intro to the Buffalo Springfield song that we do. Micky does a story over just a
right. How Stephen Stills was originally
exactly. He's talking
about the Monkees, and then he's like, "No, I'm not going to do it." I know all the history of the Monkees.
Oh yeah,
and then it was and he wouldn't sign the deal, right? I mean, which is funny because a lot of people these days, you know, when they do American Idol and stuff, they won't sign the deal. The story I'd always heard was he's like, yeah, I have this friend and he happens to look just like me.
Well, this story is actually about
and it's Peter Tork. I mean, it's Peter Tork.
Exactly.
Yeah, but exactly. Peter Tork looks like, if you look at the old Stephen Stills, the young Stephen Stills and young Peter Tork, they resemble each other.
They do resemble each other. That's funny.
And so they're like, Stephen Stills is like, no, but hey, here's this guy. And he kind of looked like him. So it's like,
I mean, Peter was the guy. I mean, obviously the magic is with these 4 dudes. They picked the right cats. And the fact that they met the first day of the shooting of their shoot, you know, episode 1, they're all 4 in the same room for the first time. That's insane. That's just a crazy story.
Yeah, it's amazing how they got so lucky with just that chemistry and how they all.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite shows. growing up. Like I was really into the whole MTV revival and that 20th anniversary. That was my first. I'm sure I told you this last time. Episode 230. Hold up
It's
the
right
sign.
here somewhere.
Funny, you think that the little he uses a big marker, a big pen. He thinks like, oh, it's the camera can even see it.
I don't even see it.
But that was my first concert without my
That's right.
parents, and like so it was so much fun. And then yeah, I loved it.
Well, that moment you were talking earlier about did it occur to me that I was at the Troub, back at the Troub, that during that Buffalo Springfield story, we're just playing two chords over and over again while he talks for about 5 minutes. That's when I finally kind of went, I'm back. I haven't been here in 30 years, you know, and my parents were right over there and my wife is now here. How weird. The universe, you know, I had that during that song. You probably in the video, you'll see me glossing over for a moment. And that's probably what that is.
That's cool though, that you were able to take in that moment.
Yeah.
And kind of really,
I had to hit the halfway point before I let my brain like relax just for a minute. And then after the show, Micky had like a little party. It's got a little VIP area off to the side. Coco's birthday was that night. They were going to have cake. I sent Amy over there and Amy and Courtney were together. Courtney Dolenz was there and they were hanging out, but I'm like catching up to the engineer to get the video files. I'm going and talking to my video guys about the audio files, going to my guys to get hard drives copied over, packing camera gear. And by the time I closed the last case, shook the last hand, paid off the last guy, the place is cleared out. I go to the party. There's nobody at the party but Amy and Courtney waiting for me. So I missed all of it. But you know, when you're the producer, you usually miss all of it.
Well, this is where you get your revenge is when the album comes out, the video, it's live at the Troubadour, Micky Dolenz, and then parentheses featuring John Billings.
That's exactly right.
You just slip it in and everyone's like, when did it? Well, we already printed 100 million of them.
I'm planning on putting it as a little bug in the corner of the screen. John Billings.
Are there any like backstage stories? So I do know it was Coco's birthday, and I do want to say that. Did she warm up the audience first? Is that how?
Yeah. She came out, I believe that night I think she did 4 songs. We've streamlined it to 3 now, but she was doing 4 then. And she has Amin Zarukian, Alex Jules, and Rich Dart will play with her. So she has kind of a trio behind her. So she warmed up the night, and we also multi-tracked her show. So she has her own Live at the Troub CD. And we took different strokes, different drum from Micky's performance and rolled it into her CD. So she actually has her own CD, Live at the Troub.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we'll get back to this in 1 second, but does she sing different drum? Is that the song? Okay. So yeah. So she sang different drum on the live album. That's the Mike Nesmith song that's right. What he wrote, and they rejected it, and Linda Ronstadt made it a huge hit, right? Linda Ronstadt.
Huge hit. Yeah. And the Stone Punks.
That's one of the treats I got to say of the Live at the Troubadour with Micky Dolenz CD, album, I guess, is Coco singing. I'd never heard her sing before. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing voice.
She really rocks that. That song is perfect for her. It sits perfectly in her vocal range, and she's done it for so long. She's kind of made it her own. And then, it kind of full circle wraps back to Michael Nesmith being the hootenanny. I forget what they called him when he ran like a songwriter night at the Troubadour, and his relationship with Micky, and of course Coco sang on some of the early Monkees stuff. So to have her sing his song at the Troub, that was cool. It was really cool.
Was there any crazy stories behind the scenes? Wait, did you only film one? Was this a one and done?
One and done. That was it. And we had, like I said, we had a lot of restrictions on what we could do with cameras. So we're actually looking at doing some fan submissions, because everybody in the front rows, they're standing there like this. And so I've talked to one person already, and I'm like, you know what, that footage is pretty damn good. I'm going to take that and have some cutaways with that. But no, it wasn't a crazy night. Micky had a lot of cool friends there, which of course I would have met at the VIP party had I gone. So I heard about some great people there, but I didn't really get to experience it. But
who was at the party?
I got to ask Amy when she gets here. Well, speaking of Amy Dolenz was there. Amy and Jerry were there. All his kids were there, except I don't think I think one who's on the East Coast. Charlotte wasn't. I don't believe Charlotte was there, but Emily and Georgia were there. Georgia's fiance was there. So the whole it was a big family affair. You know, that was really cool. You get back to me. I'll go. I'll search my. And you remember the whole time that we're playing, everyone's having fun up there going, are we getting that angle right? Oh God, damn! With the color, is color grading going to work on this reel? That's all I was thinking of the whole time.
So you didn't see. So I think when you say like, were these famous people? Meaning like, if you were to look out in the audience and see a famous person, would that throw you? Like if you
a little bit, yeah. I get starstruck a little bit, but it's funny because you know when those people show up, they don't usually come in the front row, or you can never see them. They're usually like in the back house, or they're off the side of the stage in the dark in the wings, which is a little unnerving when you know they're there, but you can't see them, but you know they're just staring right at the side of your skull.
Judging you nonstop. Yeah.
Judging you.
No, I get that. It's because, you know, I did stand-up comedy forever. And so it's like, if people, I'm like, you can come to the show, just don't sit in the front. I don't want to see you. And I also don't want to interact with you because you don't know how to interact with me because you think I'm me and I'm not me. I'm on stage, Jeff. We don't know each other.
That's exactly right. So it would be unnerving if I looked out there and I saw like people old actresses that I had a crush on when I was a kid or something in the audience, or Billy Mummy or somebody like that. I'd be like, oh my God, look who it is.
It's Moomy. But
Moomy.
Sorry about that,
Billy.
I didn't want to embarrass you.
I
didn't want. We'll edit it.
That's a daily occurrence, dude. Come on. But you know, I think a couple of moments that were really funny to me, or funny like cool moments, was years ago when Nesmith was around with Micky. He liked to have people around, you know, like he liked to do the star thing, you know, so he'd reach out and invite people out. Fred Armisen. I remember getting in the elevator with Fred at the Beacon in New York, you know, and you step in the elevator and you're like, holy shit, it's me and Fred. And, you know, and this elevator's going slow and you're like, what do I say to Fred Armisen? Holy cow. And
did you see him at Saturday Night Live 50? He was playing drums with a bunch of the bands.
That was great. That was really, yeah, he's very cool. It was awkward because I asked him about somebody on the show who's like one of my best friends, plays in the band. And he was like, who? And I went, you know, James. He's like, oh, you mean, I was like, the bass player? Oh yeah, the bass player. Yeah. I was like, awkward moment. Elevator door is open. Goodbye, Fred.
It's only awkward because now you put it on a podcast that now he can hear. Otherwise, he never would have known. So you just
you'll be getting an email from him.
Yeah,
any day now.
Yeah, he is one of my top fans. So
Billy Bob used to come out. Billy Bob Thornton loved Nez. And I had met Billy years ago through one of his other players and got to hang out in the studio one day. And so to see him come out and fanboy over Nez and be really nice and be just genuinely Billy, you know, not Billy Bob, it was really cool. Another cat was Dwight Yoakam. Nez's biggest fan on the planet Earth is DW, Dwight Yoakam, or DY. And Dwight would come out, and again, I'm in Nashville. Everybody in Nashville knows everybody, and everybody here plays for everybody. So you know everything about everyone. There are no secrets in the music business in Nashville, Tennessee. So I have many friends that played for Dwight. I forgot tons of Dwight stories, but Dwight in that environment was like a kid. And he was like smiling and nice and happy to be there. And Nez, you know, hey Nez, you know, that was really cool. It was cool to see those guys and that they act like fans. And that was neat.
That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. That is really cool. All right. So you're the producer of this album.
The Troub.
Live at the Troub. I call it the Troub now because I feel like I'm
so hip. You're so hip.
So part of it. How did this fall on your shoulders to have to do everything? Like the drummer couldn't help? Like, what's up? You know what I mean?
You know, Micky called, we had booked the gig at the Troubadour, which was exciting. I was like, oh, we're going to play the Troub. That's so cool. He called one day and said, hey, what's the likelihood of us capturing some video? Because I'm also in the video world and I'll shoot stuff for him now and then. Most of the time it's for our agent wants to have some footage of a show to sell the show or something. Usually it's pretty chill stuff. And I did his DVD years ago at the Arcada in Chicago. That was somebody else shot that and then gave us the footage, and I produced that one. So when it's video stuff or audio stuff, he'll call. So he called and said, "What's the likelihood that we could video that show?" It's very likely. It's let's do it. So that was it. We put it all into place, and that was the funny part is that I called I call the engineer over there. I'm like, can you do multi-track? Can you record the whole band? Yes, I can. Great, fantastic. We'll be doing that. Put that on the bill. And Micky just thought we were going to do like 2 mics out in the back of house. He just didn't know. So that night, I mean, during the show, at the end of the show, where he's like, "How'd it go? How'd it go, man?" It went great. The multi-track. I'm gonna go pick up the multi-tracks now, and he's like, "Multi-track?" I go, "Yeah, we multi-tracked the show, so we could go back and mix the audio properly for the video." And he's like, "You're saying we could do a record?" So then that fell on my shoulders. But that was cool. It actually, and then when we ended up we reversed the whole thing. We flipped it all. We did the record first, and the DVD's like it's going to be something that's going to be later, which hopefully sooner than later. I can get my ass in gear, Jeff. Hello.
First of all, you need vinyl. Nobody has a DVD player.
I know. I was like, do we do Blu-ray? Do we? You can't stream it. I don't know.
You could stream. You could stream it. You could have a YouTube channel, members only, and people pay to stream it. You could do that for like the first whatever, because it's already out page,
there. Like an OnlyFans Mickey page. Is that what you're telling me? Something like that.
You could do that too. I mean, yeah, people might pay extra if he takes his shoes off or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's some monkey feet. I
deviated horribly.
All right, so you're sitting on multi-track. What are the many things that can go wrong if you're only doing one show?
Everybody that knows me gets tired of me saying, I burn this word up constantly. I know my wife's sick of hearing me say it. Redundancy. Everything's got to be redundant. I've recorded a lot of bands live before. And if you use computers or, back in the day, we'd have machines, digital machines, or even analog. Something can go wrong. And then if you don't have a redundant backup, then you're screwed. The whole evening is for nothing. If you shoot a bunch of video with no good audio, you can't even use the video anymore. You always have to have good audio. You always have to have redundancy. So for me, that was my biggest worry, is we didn't really have great redundancy. We had like, oh shit redundancy. Like I have like a little recorder that I had sitting over by the console aimed at the aimed at the stage. The oh shit redundancy. I think I recorded a left and a right off the console onto another recorder, and that was it. And that I do not like to run at that level with that little bit of redundancy. So that was a little nerve-wracking. That could have ended horribly if that file had failed, or the drive took a dump, or any number of things. And thinking about it now, I'm like getting sweaty. Makes me crazy. So that was on my mind all night. It was like, get it to the end and make sure it works. And I got back to my hotel room, pulled up. The engineer said, no, everything's great. I'm watching it go down. It went down great. But still, until I went back to my hotel and pulled it up, put my headphones on and listened. Okay, we got it. We got it. With good audio, we can, video is going to be great anyway, because we had good people working it. But that could have gone horribly wrang.
And then, it's multi-track. So it's like, maybe we turn the bass up just a little bit more. Why is it all bass?
I should make Amin sign an NDA, because I may have asked him to turn the bass up once or twice. Just once or twice. That's it.
Hey, you're the one in charge. You have the right to do that.
I exercise that right.
I think it's totally good. So when
he did a phenomenal job. I'll say Amin did a really good job. He brought it up to a high level. I'm really happy, really proud.
It's amazing. I listen to it on Spotify or Amazon or one of those. So, it's amazing. So for the 3 cents you got from me streaming it, you're welcome.
I have it up on my MySpace page now.
When you're preparing, I know there's like a musical director and stuff like that. Yeah. So explain to me when you're playing live. And I guess this is anytime you're playing live, but like, we know what the song's supposed to sound like. So what's the role of the person doing that? And how do you guys then make sure you're properly recreating the Monkees song, the Monkees sound?
Wayne Avers has been our musical director for at least the last 20 years. And he's great. He knows the stuff inside out. He's been playing. He's the longest member of the band. He's actually did more shows than Davy Jones and Peter Tork or Michael Nesmith, believe it or not. So Wayne has a really good feel for how everything is supposed to go. And everybody on that stage is a high-level musician. And they come into that gig wanting to make sure that they are delivering. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of self-pride coming in there. Amin is always tweaking his pedal board to make sure his guitar tones are sounding like the guitar tones on the record. Rich Dart is a huge Monkees fan, intimate with their music. So, he's always dialing drum parts in like the originals. I'm probably the one that's like needs to do a little more homework. Would not be a bad thing, John. I'm that guy. Just to get a little, maybe there's a little bit too much 80s metal John in there. I don't know. It's kind of like always on the line a little. Wayne is the one, the musical director is the one that's ultimately it's Micky, but really Wayne is the one that's the man on the ground. He's the general. Micky's in command of the whole, he's the president, he's POTUS, but Wayne's the general that's making sure we're all together, we're starting and stopping anything that is an audible that gets thrown on stage. Wayne's actually the boss. He's always watching the time, because we actually can't go over a certain amount of time, so he's always got his eye on the clock. If things need to go longer, if we need to add a song or take a song away, you'll see him go up, you'll see him speak into Micky's ear, and Micky puts all his trust into Wayne to do that for him, so that he can just go out there and be Micky. He's not worried about all these things. And that's the musical director. And that's what Wayne, and that night, my job was just capturing the evening. Wayne's job was still driving the ship that night at the Troub.
At the Troub. I won't ask you which songs you wish you could have done over, but for the live album, because you only had one shot. But I will ask you, which are the ones where you're like, damn, we dialed into these versions of these songs that night.
Thought we did Your Song by Elton John, and I was worried about that, because I think that was the first time I played that song since I was 25 or something, a long time ago, and I didn't put as much homework into that one as I probably should have, but I'd heard it my whole life. I'd played it when I was younger. I think I put my hands on it right before the sound check when we ran it for the first time. That one I was worried about, but I was pleased how it came out. I think it came out really good. Everything else, you got to remember, this configuration of players. Amin came on on the Mike and Micky the last time Mike was with us. So what is that, 2 years now? So we've had this group locked in for 2 years doing these tunes. So for the most part, everyone's going to come in and it's going to be pretty good. And I think it was a really good night. I can't imagine anything else doing anything over.
No, it all sounded amazing. That's not what I mean.
Yeah, but it was a good night for us.
If I'm doing comedy sometimes you're just in a rhythm, and one of the jokes you just crush harder than other nights. Just for no reason.
It's funny that thinking back, I was so worried about everything else. I don't think I paid attention to it. I might have fixed one bass note. I think I came in wrong somewhere, and I may have gone in there and corrected my error.
All right. So that's my next question. How much post work do you do on a live album to make
There's always a little bit. There's always a little bit. That you got I think the biggest offense on this record was in between song noise on stage. Somebody tune and hit a pedal and it goes for a second, or I think I hit a bass note by accident, and then it's going back and removing a bunch of that extraneous noise that doesn't need to be there. That was the biggest editing that we did. I just wanted it to be clean between songs. You just hear Micky talking. I didn't want to hear people tuning, or me and Rich talking about making fun of somebody out in the house. We're always having a sidebar, and made sure that all that was ixnayed on the sidebar stuff.
The download's been good. Is it because it's harder these days, right? To just get the word out.
It's really hard. Micky did a great job of marketing and hyping the record. And I know he's doing a deal where you buy the record, you're making a donation straight to
Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish. Thank you, sir. And that's what the whole night was really about. It was about a Make-A-Wish evening. That's what, that's really what his goal was. He wanted to play there, but it was really about Make-A-Wish. And so now if you buy the record, there's an additional donation to Make-A-Wish. So that's kind of really cool.
That is really cool. So some kid with Make-A-Wish, and I want to meet the Monkees, and John Billings shows up. He's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, it'd be more like, "What's going on?" That's the face they'd actually make.
I think that's amazing that they promote that. I had that written down. That the whole night was for Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah, and I think a lot of their leadership that was in Los Angeles, I think a lot of their leadership was there that night, which was really cool. Of course, my head was buried in the sand of worry and production, so I missed all of that. But I heard they were there.
I heard I had a good time.
I heard it, yeah.
Do you know who has the most Make-A-Wishes? I mean, not the most Make-A-Wishes. You know who's fulfilled the most Make-A-Wishes?
No.
John Cena.
Really?
Yeah, just he holds the record. Just a little random trivia.
That's cool.
So it was Coco's birthday, which I think you mentioned in the thing. And then I'd never heard that was Then This Is Now Live, which
okay.
I love that song, and the album kicks off. So this is the name of the album, really, if you're touring, is Micky Dolenz Songs and Stories.
Exactly.
It's not the name of the album, but that's kind of the subtitle of what the tour normally is. Okay.
And the show was a kickoff for that new show. This is a new show he designed where he wanted to tell more of these stories about the songs and about things that had happened to him in the day or during, the song always relates to a story. And this show was the kickoff for that, which is what we're out doing right now. We'll be doing that through the year.
I think Ned's did that at one point. Because I saw that live at some really small theater. I saw Ned Smith, and he would tell. It was like he has an album. I think it's like something in story, TV and movie. I don't know what it was, but like where he would kind of tell stories. He didn't play any Monkees songs though. He might have played "Listen to the Band."
That was he might have.
He might have,
begrudgingly.
If he did, that would have been the only one. So this one has Last Train to Clarksville. He has a lot of great little stories. A little bit, for Pete's sake, I love that song, the closing song. That is such a
cool tune,
song.
right?
There's
another song with a cool bass, like that's got a cool, quirky little bass part. That's really neat. And Mean will play along with me on guitar and cool Monkees bass part.
All right, so is it super fun playing the Beatles then live? Like, because Sgt. Pepper is on there. Good morning, good morning. It's not Monkees. Absolutely. You're like, it must be. I mean, I know you love the Monkees. I don't mean anything about it, but it's like must be nice to like switch it up a little bit. Absolutely. Any tour you were doing, even if you're doing
just something now that we didn't do a lot of
Monkees thing. I
get
listen to Monkees nonstop, but I'm just saying, but like it probably just gives, as a musician, it probably puts a little juice back into you for the next Monkees song, because it
does that for Micky, because Micky is a fan. He's a fan. He's a Beatles fan, so he gets jazzed when he gets to do one of these songs. Much less two. We did Good Morning, and then we'll do Sgt. Pepper's. He's excited. It really puts like fuel in his tank when he gets to do those. That's when I could have done a much better job. It's Good Morning. It's not my proudest moment that night.
Yeah, the bass was a little off on that one.
It was a little off.
Your wife called me and said, "Don't skip that one. He's a little off." I'm like, "How do you know?" She's like, "Well, I play piano."
I've been sitting there listening to him clown it up all night long. He's not going to get it.
Is it emotional for maybe even you, because you knew him too? Like when you play Valerie, or for Pete's sake, like where they were the core, or like different drum, even where these are the other non-surviving members' songs that were so iconic, because it's emotional. And like I remember like watching like even the 50th when you did the Davey tribute. It's emotional, it's like you're like it kind of hits you. And
it was really more emotional then, because that was Andrew Sandoval's point was, and it worked in such a way that on stage we felt it, playing along with Davey. I forget the name of the song. It's the one where he's tap dancing in a tuxedo.
Right. I know which one you're talking about. But
we would play along with him on that. Some of the Nez stuff that we did after Nez passed, Micky would make me feel like, oh wow, yeah, it's we lost this guy. I got a little emotional with him. Peter didn't sing a lot during the show, but you miss looking over there and seeing him, on that side of the stage. He's not there anymore. One day you show up to a gig and he's not there. So there's, I guess for different reasons you get emotional about that stuff. In their family members, that definitely. And I didn't know Davey at all. I had never met Davey at that point. I just worked for Micky in the beginning, and then when the Monkees got together, Davey and Peter and Micky, then Davey took his band out, so I wasn't even involved. I never got to meet Davey, and I remember I got to see them in Coney Island. I actually had my daughter at that show. I went backstage before the show, and Wayne brought me back because Wayne was on the gig. Got to go see the band and say hi to everybody, and Wayne goes, "Hey, do you want to go meet Davey? You've never met Davey?" And I go, I know before the show, that's kind of like a sacred time. No, I'll meet him later. I'll meet him another time. We'll see. We'll encounter him some other else. No, leave him alone. That opportunity went right away. I learned a good lesson from that one.
I don't remember if I told you the story about how I almost met Davey, where when my wife and I started dating, we would go see the real live Brady Bunch. I'm going back decades. And so every week we would usher, so we didn't have to pay because we didn't have any money. And one of the episodes they did was the Davy Jones episode, and Davy Jones was there and played Davy Jones. And so afterwards, there was no line. I can picture it. I'm like, I don't know why I didn't. It wasn't. I was like, I regret that to this day. As I stare at my Headquarters album,
it could have been exactly. You could have had another little signature on there.
As I stare at my Headquarters album with only 2 signatures on it, because I almost met Peter. We were going to Comic-Con, and the same Comic-Con had Norman from I can't remember. I'm blanking on his last name. At the height of Walking Dead. Norm.
Okay. Oh,
and,
yeah.
And Stan Lee. It took us 3 hours to get near the parking lot, and we finally bailed. I mean, I had that album with me. I had it with me. We're like, oh, hey, I'll get it next time. And I was like, oh, you got to be. Sometimes there's not a next time, and it's like,
My wife there's a great moment with my wife who's missed a little pop culture. She's gonna kill me when she hears this, but she knows the story, so she'll forgive me. She missed a little bit of pop culture there for a while. She was working for an artist that we work with at our store called named Guy Gilchrist. And she'd go out with Guy and she'd be his handler, which is, somebody that gets him to the venue, it brings the fans over to meet him, ushers him along. Okay, that's great. Okay, next, come up. Get him something to eat, get him back to the room, wake him up in the morning, start all over again. She'd known the guy for years. She did a few weekends with him like this. And finally a gig came along to go to, I think it was San Diego. It wasn't a Comic-Con, but it was a con. She didn't want to go. She didn't want to make the trip. It was, we had something else going on. She's like, I can't do this one. And Guy's manager called up and come on, we want you on this one. And she's like, no, I can't do it. She gets off the phone with him and she's talking to me and she's like, I don't know if I should go to this thing. This guy invited Guy, whoever put the show on invited Guy personally. And they just wanted a big deal to have him a real handler. And I was like, well, who's the guy who put the show on? She goes, there's some guy named Stanley something. And I went, Stan Lee? And she's like, yeah, maybe it was Stan Lee. And I was like, oh my God, you turned that down to go meet Stan Lee. And she's like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, I had to go and show Marvel Comics. And she's just going, oh my God.
After we did our last interview, episode 230.
Yeah.
You were in town. You came to Michigan. And you were the Royal Oak Music Theater. And I would have gone. That was like a Saturday. I never travel. I never do anything. That Friday, going to visit my daughter, who happened to be in London at the time, studying abroad. And so I was like, are you kidding me?
A worthy cause, though. I mean,
I know, but it's like, you do nothing. And then the two events, they just line up at the same time.
That's how it happens, dude. That's how it happens.
Yeah. So we could have I could be putting up a photo right now of me and Mickey. I mean, you and I.
That's exactly right. It's going to happen. I'm going to be back. I mean, we'll be in Michigan. It's going to happen.
We'll do it. Well,
is back from the nail salon.
Uh-oh. That's all right. We're almost done.
He's creeping back there. She is.
That's all right. That's all right.
This is a working house, Jeff. An actual home. This is not a studio.
This is what makes it real.
If I had my grandkid over here going, Papa, 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 then you'd really get the.
I like the little Monkees thing you got in the back.
I got my drum head there, my Mickey drum head.
Yeah, I think my brother-in-law has one of those, and it's signed.
Yeah. So if you're a drummer, you must have one of these guys.
My brother-in-law is a drummer, and he has that exact thing actually. So with Micky Dolenz signature. I mean,
so this is another crazy thing I've got here, which I need to put it away from my grandkids so they don't destroy it. I played this bass. I couldn't tell you what era it was, but I was playing this for a concert run. It's a Gibson bass. I was going to retire it from the tour. I just wasn't going to play it anymore. I was going to play something else. I was going to play a different model bass. And then I thought, I'm just going to get Nez and Mickey to sign this thing, and they'll just put their name on it. And one day maybe I'll just sell it. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. And then so I gave it to their assistants, and they wrote messages on there. And I was like, I can't.
I was just gonna say you
can't sell that.
That's worthless now.
Well,
it's worth something to you.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was just hoping to just say Michael Nesmith, Micky Dolenz, and then I got this back, and it's like to John, great work, Michael Nesmith, and then Mickey wrote Big Bad John from Little Good Mickey. And I'm like, oh,
well, to
forever be on the wall somewhere at my house.
Well, or you sell to a John.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say that as you were saying that, I was like, no, that's not gonna have any resale value with your name on it. Exactly. That's why I mean, just so everyone listening, that's why when you go to these Comic-Con, that's why they'll put your name on it so that it minimizes your ability to do a resale.
Exactly. So, and then most of these guys don't, like Mickey's really, he'll do one for you, but these people will walk up with a stack of records, and this is, they're going to go off and, like you said, they're going to go for resale. So he'll do I'll do the first one maybe, and then everyone you need to pay Make-A-Wish. and you pay Make-A-Wish and I will sign it for you. And I was like, that's cool. Cause then that means that record is, they're making a donation every time they sign a record.
It's amazing. When I met Mike Nesmith, I met them both at Comic Cons, Mickey at different times. It was like Mike's only time doing one because I think he never understood really why people wanted his autograph, right? And
that's who he always was.
And I'm like, I love the Monkees, and you're standing in line with people, and you realize I don't love the Monkees as much as these people. There's people like I'm paying like $100 for one autograph, right? I can't even afford a photo, right? I took one from like 10 feet away or something. I mean, there's people with 20 things and they're going to pay $100, 20 times 100, and like crazy things, like not just normal things, like things you never see before or after that somehow they had access to.
That's right. And they save their money all year long. They save up all year in cash. Usually it's cash. And they come to these things and they're there on a mission.
I showed you. You can see the 8x10s. Each one of these represents something, and if I do that, you can see it goes all the way around. Yeah. That's how I spend my money at the Comic Con. All right, but real quick though, back to live at the Troubadour, Micky Dolenz. I know you love Troubadour. Am I saying it wrong?
You're saying it just right.
Okay, the Troubs.
I'm just making fun of you calling it, for me making fun of you, making fun of me calling it the Troub.
So the Troubs. We're hanging at the Troubs, and so I know you probably love all the songs. So this is not like a setup question, but I'm just saying, like, if you were to jam out, you can pick two if you want. But if like of this album, if you were to jam out, I could say you can only listen to one song for the rest of your life from this album.
I happen to have said album. I'm gonna read the back because of course I don't remember anything from that night.
Right. You only produced it and probably spent 1,000 hours with it, but I get it.
If I could do over Good Morning, that'd be great. Let's see. Johnny Be Good's always fun to play. That's like not a Monkees tune. It's always fun to play that. And it's always fun when we do the setup for Purple Haze that we do. We used to play the whole song. Mickey used to go, hey, that sounded pretty good. Why don't we do the whole thing? And then Wayne would kick back into the lick and we'd play the whole Purple Haze thing. But that one went away, sad to say. I always loved playing Stepping Stone.
Stepping Stone's a fun song. I loved hearing That Was Then, This Is Now. This kicks off really great. Because I don't think I ever heard that one live as many times as I've heard them play.
That's usually live. A Mickey show. It was never a Monkees show, kind of like when we do a Monkees show, that song never usually ended up in the...
that was a Monkees song, though. It's like, I think it might have just been Davey and him, though, because it was like a Greatest Hits album. It was a Greatest Hits release called, I think that was This Is Now. So, yeah, it's on.
That one is always in a Mickey show. So if you come to a Mickey show, that one's always at the top of the show. That's usually like these days is typically Stepping Stone, right into This Is Then, That Was Then, This Is Now. And then right out of there, we'll usually run right into, is it right here? Let me see. Actually, no, it isn't. We changed the set that night, I see.
Well, that's my final question. Are these in the order you played them or in the order you...
They are, yeah. Okay. We kept everything in the order just because the DVD, I'm going to have it all linear anyway. So we kept everything in order. We could, I guess, pop around a little bit, but what's the use of that? This was a good set that night.
No, I was just asking. I loved it. Because I only mentioned it because you said normally you play That Was Then, This Is Now after Stepping Stone. Because of my active listening skills, I then thought to ask that question.
No, this is a good set. And then Give Me Some Lovin' is fun to play. I always have fun doing that. No Time is a funny song. I always get a kick out of that. That's kind of a silly song. That's a total silly song. And we every now and then we'll do it the whole thing, or we'll just do a piece of it. Lately, we've been doing the whole thing. But here's the funny thing is we never know we're going to do the whole thing. Mickey would come out. He'll do this thing with Wayne. He'll go, we're going to do the Funky Monkey. And they'll do this little blues rendition of Hey, Hey, we're the Monkees. And then Mickey might go, hit it, Alex. And we'll play I'm a Believer. And that's the end of the night. Or he'll go, he'll just launch into No Time. And we literally, Rich will sit there and we just kind of eyeball each other like, what's it going to be? I don't know. And that's literally how that usually goes. That night, we knew what we were going to do. But like literally now, we never know if we're going to do the whole song or go right into hit it, Alex. So Alex is kind of ready. We're all ready, kind of watching, see what happens.
That's amazing. All right. Well, I love it.
It's Coco live at the Troubadour.
Oh, Coco live. Yeah. Coco is amazing too. Amazing voice. It's amazing that they both have, like, she's not as famous as him.
And she played on some of that early stuff. She sang on it. So she's actually on some of the early records. Mickey pulled her in.
Yeah, that's so sweet of him. That's awesome. Well, I mean, she's good. I mean,
Yeah, but you know, Big Brother, you think more often he like shove her on the forehead, get or something like that, or
well,
give
I
her
think
wet willy.
he probably recognizes she's like really, really good. Just probably makes him sound better. So
he says that on his shows. He goes, "This is who I learned to sing from," and then he'll introduce different different strokes.
John, it was a pleasure hanging out with you again, man. Thank you so much.
It was a great pleasure, Jeff. I loved it. What number is this episode? Do we know yet? Have you numbered?
We don't know what episode this is. All
right, so let me know, and I'll put it underneath the 230.
Just hold it up, and I'll superimpose it. If you just hold it up, just do it.
Wait, new page. Hold on, new page. There we go.
I really don't even.
Ready? It's that episode.
It's like you don't understand overlay video.
Yeah.
You could be holding a dog. I could replace.
Track this in Premiere and After Effects, and then get it going, dude. Thank you, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, this is a blast. Thank you, sir. I love coming on your show.
I love having you on my show. We'll have you back every 230 episodes. We'll have you back.
I'll always be there for you. Next time, I'm going to make Amy play piano over here next to me. She's good.
That would be amazing. And
you could be our background music.
You could play the bass. That'd be great. I love it.
Totally.
Love it. All right, let's take it out with a Monkee song. That was that. This is now. All right, you're awesome. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.